Okay, so let's try to do some Torah. So yeah, so the right, we're in a bit of a new year, but we still don't have all the hostage free, or at least we don't know what's happening with them, which is very bad. But which means that we're still all kind of in a situation of hostage, and that we still have to stay connected. Like if it was one of your family member in hostage, you still be thinking of them every day, every night. So for me, I felt that October 7th was very much, and I'm not trying to explain why October 7th because you can't, but I'm trying to express the fact that what came out of it is that I felt it was a real test of seeing how many of the Jews are really connected to their own thing. Like who, you have some Jews who are hostage. How much does it matter to you? Like my Rebbe was saying, like how many of us goes to sleep in a nice comfortable bed, not even thinking about how the soldiers are sleeping, sometimes not sleeping for 2-3 nights, or sleeping in the desert on stones and rocks. Like we should not feel completely comfortable,
The Rav in Kanievsky's whatnot, he's sleeping on a bench, like he's
oh yeah?
Yeah, for the whole, since October, he's been sleeping on a bench.
Right.
Who's this?
Kanievsky's son-in-law or something.
I saw that he put like a board instead of a mattress on his bed frame.
Wow.
It's the same idea on Tisha B'Av, where some sleep on the floor, they put a stone under their pillow, whatever. There needs to be a sense of discomfort on a daily basis until things are... and that's why I wear this, like to be constantly aware, not to lose focus. It's very easy to get trapped into your everyday life, and and you go on your Instagram and you have this and funny stuff and and then you forget about there are people who might still be in Gaza in hell. Like
the other day I went through all the videos again.
What?
The other day I went through all the videos of October 7th.
Oh.
You watch that new movie that came out? Dancing, We'll Dance Again? Right.
It's a documentary?
Documentary on Paramount. I think on Paramount.
Oh, really?
Goes through it was like done really professionally, and they have so many videos I've never seen.
Oh,
really?
They gathered from
Really?
You should watch it now.
And
right, and also because the families are now like, okay, release the footage,
I don't think they should
Right,
blur
people-
the footage. A
they
lot
should
are
not-
still don't.
They should not be blurring them out. I'm sorry.
Burning?
Blur the images.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think.
So I work for Stan with us, so I never forget. It's like ongoing. Like it's my work,
Right.
day in, day out. When
What you work for? Who? Stan with us? Yeah. No,
Yeah, I run data and analytics. So like when I came back last year, like after Yom Tov, there were 445 messages I missed. Like they were on,
You know Naomi Nussbaum? No.
No,
I
she
think
works for Stan.
Maybe it's the soldiers thing, not the Stan.
There are a lot of
not of
Jewish workers.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, either or. Anyway, but so I think the idea as we're starting a new year, so to speak, right? There was a shift. We went to Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and we try to put our minds back in track with like where am I in my life? What's my situation? I mean, last year, for me personally, it was one of the hardest years of my life in terms of physically, emotionally, spiritually. You were
here?
I work here. I work now mostly as a therapist, and there's so much suffering just within the Jewish community, beside what's happening in the world. But there's so much suffering, so much abuse, so much injustice, so much.
Do you typically only counsel Jews or?
No, not necessarily. Just I had some non-Jews. I had someone who was in addiction, recovering from addiction. It's not from choice really. I like to work with Jews and non-Jews the same. The advantage of working with Jews, sometimes you can bring out things that you can relate, like from the spiritual side, but. In my organization, the organization I work for, the Shalom Center in has mostly Jews. So so there's a lot of trauma, and it's not getting easier, and the level of injustice that I hear happening with the Jewish court, with the Beis Din, with the within the divorce, because I was dealing with divorce situation and almanos, and it's insane. It's disgusting. It's terrible. And sometimes you see how is it possible to have something like that within the Jewish people? Where is the halacha? Where is the chesed? Where is the achdus? Where is v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha? It's you don't understand. And well, we are in a deep exile, and so many people feel hostage. And I feel one of the responsibility as Jews is really to go out of our way to speak up in a way, or at least be there for the people who are hostage, because there's a lot of people who are alone. There's a lot of lonely people, lonely women, lonely men, lonely singles, lonely, a lot of, the shidduch system needs to be also reevaluated, because there's a lot of problem in there.
We're doing a pretty good job though.
No, well, yeah, that was just...
60 marriages.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Joan called me, you
17.
serious? 17?
I didn't know you had made so many. 16?
Shea butter?
Wow. That's
Since 16 since when?
Since
I
2 years.
just
2
thought
years.
whenever I saw that they had.
5 years. Yeah, but that's very good. It's very good compared to the the rate of it. But yeah, so we and finding ourselves also hostage to a lot of things. Hostage to a system, hostage to our family, hostage to our certain relationship, right? Right. It's
Freedom, yeah, same.
yeah.
Not many years, just a bit.
And hostage from certain marriages that people are afraid to go out of, and it's tough. We really, or from religious sects, they feel trapped, and it's scary. I experienced directly the control that sometimes certain groups have on individuals, the whole community against it. It's very scary. It's very scary because so whatever. But meaning, and I hate to speak negatively about, because Baruch Hashem there's so much good, there's so much chesed at the same time, there's so much, but we have to be aware of the reality. And if Moshe is not here, and the Beis Hamikdash is still not rebuilt, right? Like we saw on Tisha B'Av, it's as if we destroyed it that year, or we're still doing things that destroys it, so to speak. That means we're still not healthy enough to. Right. So Baruch Hashem, we have an amazing Jewish people, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But the work comes from the bottom up. We can't wait for the rabbis to change something, or there's no more leaders, there's no more gedolim anymore. There's rabbis there and you have to filter which rabbi is healthy or not, because there's some crazy stuff, so things need to be changed, things need to be renewed every year. Is another chance to recalibrate and reevaluate. Okay, and I wish this is something, because they would not let me speak in a regular yeshiva if I would speak like that. But where are you from? It does come from you. What do you love about Judaism? How do you connect? What's the things that you resent? People are scared to say that publicly, or especially if it's kids or yeshiva or seminary, or Beis Yaakov, because you're what?
There's such a pushback against.
There's a pushback because we Jews, we don't like change. So the old Jewish mind, we like the structure, we like the laws, we like the boundaries, and it's easier to be strict than to be lenient. And
I heard one time a real
That's
rabbi.
interesting.
It's very easy for a rabbi.
Much easier to be strict, and that's a challenge. To say no, the rabbi, let's say the rabbi is not even so sure about. He says no, he wants to look like a tough cookie, a strong Jew. But the truth is, we know it's in halacha. It's said in many places. the greatest rabbis are the rabbis who bring the heterim. That's what a great Torah scholar is. Someone that finds a solution to the problem. It's not always, but someone who can give it.
Used to do.
What?
The Brisky Rabbi used to like find it would be
What?
so hardcore, but he would find the like he would, even like Lulav Esrog, he would be.
You'll find right, like in many
Why
ways.
it would be kosher? It's like you know.
Yes,
like,
yes, and
For
that's
instance, in Brooklyn we have the Eruv debate.
okay, but that's a whole different part. No, I'm not
No,
even
but like
going
with
to
the
it.
leniencies.
But yeah, it's the same thing in Uber. Hey, okay, now we can start. Yeah.
Oh my god, I did not know.
But yeah, even the errors because you can feel stuck, not being able to go anywhere because there's no error you can carry or because the error is.
Like me, I live in, technically speaking, I wouldn't hold the Eruv. But because I live in a building, I have to carry my keys to go to the shul.
We have halakha and Torah has to be something that evolves that doesn't put the individual and destroy the individual. You can feel completely hostage in your own Judaism, and that backfires at some point, and you throw everything out because you have been like so. It has been so heavy that you only. If you don't go out of it, you get sick. It's not worth it. You're not meant to be miserable in your religion. It's supposed to be the most exciting way of life. So
You're not enjoying it, you're doing it wrong.
right, and God, it says everywhere in all real Hasidic Sefer and Kabbalah and all that we are supposed. The ideal way to serve God is out of love. How you can serve God out of love if you feel a hostage in your own thing? It just doesn't work. So and that's why we have a hard time loving each other because already that's where we feel ourselves stuck. So we end up running away. I have sometimes people asking me because someone this last week asked me, Rabbi, what should I do? I was taught to serve God out of fear my whole life, and so that I felt guilty and shame when I did something. But now someone who is very, very sick, and he says, so what should I do? I want to start serving God out of love because I want it, because I love God. Should I start from scratch? Should I stop everything and start again, right? It's a very good question because I think it's a question that we all, sometimes you need to start from the basic back, from the bottom. So this is the way I answered her, based on the way I've discussed with my Rebbe in the past. Doesn't mean you have to throw out everything, but whatever positive that you have, you don't need to throw out the positive, but something that you connect to. So let's say you love to light Shabbos candles, or you love to put on tefillin, or whatever it is. So this, you don't have to throw it out, you can just keep it because that's the place you connect. But all the parts that are negative and it gives you anxiety and stress, like how many single mothers I spoke to who have kids, and they when Yom Tov comes, they're almost depressed, and it's very hard. And so what's the solution? That they're going to get miserable for 2-3 days, and hate doing Yom Tov and hate. No, then you gotta find some other solution to the problem. And there are nowadays solutions. Like for example, I had a girl. She says she cannot read because she has some mental health issue. So she cannot read, and she's
ADHD?
alone. What?
I'm kidding. ADHD?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like really severe things. She real severe. I forgot what it is, but it's not ADHD. But dyslexia and other stuff. Like she was, I think, abused. She had a lot of things, and her mind is like she cannot read for more than 5 minutes. After that, she gets headache and all that. So we came up with a plan that before Yom Tov start, but she loves to listen to classes, for example, right? So she made a playlist of things like that's going to run for 48 hours, and she turns it in one of the room in her house where and it just plays. And whenever she wants to listen to something of Torah, she goes there and she listens. And halachically, there's no problem, right? Because it's just plays by itself, and it gives her a way to connect to Judaism or to the holy day in a positive way, instead of being miserable for 3 days alone, not doing anything, and just hating it, right?
Right.
So we need to come with those. I didn't respond to text. but yeah, we need to be smart. We need to be smart Jews, because sometimes, there's the firm Jew and the smart Jew. So. Yeah, nobody here.
Yeah, they go on Josh.
Can I add a comment?
Yes, please.
So, I'm about Tshuva.
Lucky.
I came to mitzvah observance totally on my own, through my own journey, and I chose it and I love it. But for some people, and I think maybe it's kind of common, because I was able, my Torah observance reflects my, idea and relationship with Judaism, but so many people grow up their relationship with Judaism in a system, and that's so hard for them to connect to Hashem, because Hashem is obviously above everything we have built for ourselves. And so a lot of people, they go off the derech, or they really, really struggle, because it's they're missing that actual relationship with the Creator, the Almighty, their relationship with Judaism falls into whatever community that they were born into that tells them how their relationship with Hashem is supposed to be.
Yeah,
and if they don't feel that, then there's something maybe wrong with them, or they're just totally, they feel like no one hears them, no one sees them. So it's just, I feel I don't really know necessarily what you were trying to say. I just wanted to add that I feel it's such an important journey for every Jew to go on, to realize that God, Hashem, the Torah is so much above what we can conceptualize and create down here. And I just feel people really get stuck on that, on viewing Torah and mitzvah commandment in a this world way. They weren't taught to really do it for Hashem. They're doing it because they feel pressured by a community, or by their school, or their whatever, So it's something I've noticed just from talking to people, that they want, maybe some people that fall off it, they really do want to figure out how to have an authentic relationship with Hashem, but it's so hard for them because they don't see people authentic, really opening up to themselves, because it's shame. So.
Right. No, that's a very good point. And and it's something actually I try to tell from people. You need to become a Baal Tshuva. So I believe everybody who is born within the mold, the fold, needs to have that Baal Tshuva experience, because if you don't choose your Judaism and you do it for others, you're not going to be truly happy, and your Judaism is going to be weak. You cannot be happy of something that you do for others. Right, it's
in yeshivot, the B'Tzamach is a very Baal Tshuva or Sameach,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a Surah. And those people who are from birth, they're the people that they schlep, and they miss chakras. The people who miss chakras are usually the FFBs.
Right.
Because they come there to become motivated again. It's a
true.
Yeah.
It's
just at that place. It's not.
I actually believe that the reason there was a Baal Tshuva movement, beside the fact that all the souls are coming back, is to bring a new level of energy, to bring that desire to serve God out of love, out of understanding, out of meaning that there's an intellectual part and emotional part that needs to be satisfied also. We're not meant to be robots. God doesn't want robots. God wants an intellectual and emotional honesty and real strong, something real strong and there's nobody that, for me it became so fascinating that I started teaching. I was Baal Tshuva, right? I went to Orsami actually in Monsey for 5 years.
What's his name now? Is she called Torah? No.
Oh no, it changed because it was, now they have for couples and I don't know, it completely changed. But the idea is that it's completely. I forgot what I was gonna.
Sorry, it's my fault.
So it's fine. But
you were saying that people need to become Baal Tshuvas and
Right.
the new wave and bringing souls back together.
You're talking when you were in or Sameach.
Oh yeah. So doing the so back to so that the it was Baal Tshuva movement. It's a movement, right? It's a revolution. It was not just like, oh, people are just coming back. It was, I believe, it was meant to be an awakening, a wave of awakening for the religious community to gain from all, because of all those Baal Tshuva, they started making all those programming and classes and lessons about, okay, how do we deal with the archaeology, with the dinosaurs, with the edge of the universe, and and the real question: how do we know the Torah is true? How do we know God is true? Science, all that, all those have been answered, and we have nowadays so many proof that you don't need to be just a believer, because being just a believer, although it's nice, but Emunah in Judaism doesn't mean being a believer. Emunah means being convinced that this is the real thing. It's not blind faith like in, you have to believe and know that He's God, meaning it has to come to a place where I have total clarity that this is the real thing. Because you cannot live your life in doubt. You cannot live your life always, doubt is Amalek, was our worst enemy. You live like that. Maybe it's a God, maybe it's not. So the moment you struggle in your Judaism, or you have bad things happening to good people, then you're gonna throw everything off, because like what kind of life is that? It can be, and how many times I think also it can be, but I've seen the truth of the Torah and all the stuff that I'm convinced that is Judaism. But after October 7th, unless you're really convinced, it's very hard to stay from. Or after Holocaust, after Crusades, or after the.
I feel the war now for me is more proof.
Right. So if you have the clarity to see, incredible miracles.
The major thing, I was happy for 4 days straight.
Right.
Laughing every day.
Right. No,
every time I saw hijab, I was like.
There was tons of miracles. Also, I mean, when I heard like Iran had sent all those ballistic missiles, 1,200 or.
They missed every.
It's a joke.
Yeah,
It happened twice.
It happened twice. Yeah, twice.
Israel did a lot of damage to Iran also.
Right, but that's easy. That's easy. That's not a miracle. That's we have the idea. But that Hashem made, it could have been thousands of deaths, and
the whole country could have been destroyed.
Right. It was. I remember seeing the map with red alerts, and everywhere it was like, what's happening? It felt like it was the destruction of all of Israel all of a sudden, and then you hear. Nobody got hurt, nothing. Right, yeah, right. It's insane. So when we realize that, we come to a point like where we all meant to become Baal Tshuva, but what it means that it says before Moshe come, things are going to happen, and everybody is going to do Teshuvah. It means we're all going to become Baal Tshuva. We're going to realize, but so now we don't need to go to war technically or to have those crazy miracles to have the truth, because we have nowadays the information thanks to the Baal Tshuva movement. We have the material necessary to understand and to go deeper. Today there's a lot of sort of Kabbalah and Hasidus and spirituality revealed that was never taught before publicly, or because it was always hidden for these small groups just for men above 40. Now we understand that all those bans have been lifted up, and now everybody is encouraged to learn. Men, women, before 40, but obviously from the right source, obviously with the right rabbi, obviously you can't just learn anything, but you have the information, you have what to do, and
that's what this generation clicks with the most.
Right.
Is like actually being taught the real inner spiritual dimension and essence of things.
Like Kabbalah.
Yeah, at least for me, I wouldn't have had the drive or commitment to change and commit to so much in my life had there not been an actual deeper
right. Absolutely. I totally relate to that, because
it's really
no, because we are in a generation where a lot of people need that spirituality, otherwise I'm fascinated by what's happening in the ultra-Orthodox community, whether by the Hasidim or even Yeshivish, but more by Hasidim. There's ayahuasca ceremonies and trips and retreats and shrooms and ketamine and it's like and now in therapy this is becoming the big thing where you get microdose of all those psychedelic. It's like it's the new world. It's like it's like unheard of. It's like okay, let's and I like because I had a few clients coming to my office. Just a therapy office, and the guy, usually Hasidim, come with their wife, and they say, yeah, we went to a ceremony last week, and we were trying to figure out like why we struggle in our marriage, and a lot of them are growing from it. Now, obviously, it's not the solution because we can grow spiritually. We don't need technically the plant, but sometimes we need Tylenol. We need a thing. So if it's done in a smart way, sometimes you're hostage in your own mind, and you need something to open you up. So sometimes you need, but not always. But yeah, how whole Judaism is completely transformed. It's nothing like I've ever seen in. Well, I've been from for 25 years. The past 5 years is like. It's like almost like a new Judaism. I mean, Baruch Hashem, it's meant to evolve. If we're coming to the end of time and the redemption and unity and and like we say, so if you don't love yourself, so how most people don't love themselves. So if you need an ayahuasca trip to finally find peace and love yourself, okay, fine. Not that I think you need it, but if that's sometimes you need to find a way, and you grew up in a community where there was no way for you to open up to your mind to it. So okay, so you guys went to a trip, and that's okay. I've seen a lot of healing and people growing, but we have now we have to remember also that the Rambam, and Shlomo HaMelech used to have the book of Refuah where he has all the plants and all the secret on how to heal literally any sicknesses, and obviously it's not just physical sicknesses; it's also emotional. Joe. And therefore, what's up? and and people, hey, people where they have a shiur, they smoke a joint. Not that that's the ideal, but. We have to transcend our limitation about being so stuck into we have to bring the new Judaism, not reform, but the more spiritual, the more healthy, the more understanding, the more we can have men and women talking together like adults, and we can speak about real life issues in ensuring about sex, drugs, and rock and roll and whatever, and really speak about the real issues and the problems in the community was something that was never done before. Only the past 5-10 years max we have those. We have Eli Nash speaking about his sexual addiction and all different people who started opening up and the abuse in the Jewish community and all those stuff. It's finally it's opening up. We need to heal. We can't just where we're hostage our whole life. Our Judaism was hostage in itself, and we have to break the boundaries. Also, the idea of what a rabbi is supposed to look like. So some people can speak. What? You're a rabbi? I don't understand why every rabbi doesn't have that, for example. I change kippah sometimes, the kippah sruga. I don't identify as a velvet kippah, so, but sometimes I wear a black hat, and sometimes, I have a girdle, sometimes not, and I don't wear always black and white, and I drive a motorcycle, so what? But yeah, because what do you think a rabbi is? A rabbi is not a holy angel that knows all halakha and just going to do that. A rabbi is supposed to be someone who is understand life, understand how the Torah wants us to deal with life, and be realistic and connect to your people in your generation. Actually, my rabbi explained based on the Ramban. Say, what's the definition of a Talmid Chacham? The definition of a Talmid Chacham, the real definition of Talmid Chacham, is someone who knows how to guide his students based on what is needed for his generation, for the time. That's the Talmid Chacham, that understand what's going on in the world and how to best address halacha in these circumstances. Because if you try to bring, and there are many debates about that, like the Judaism of Poland, and Russia, and try to bring the same thing again here and continue the same system in yeshiva, it's failing. It's failing, and it started at the beginning a little bit with Rav Aaron Kotler in America, but it's failing. The yeshiva, now they realize they have to bring much more sport in the yeshiva, more. Yeah,
I think for a long time the English education is serving yeshiva.
Right, and also how to be not scared of speaking English, of science, of biology. It's not the enemy. The non-Jew is not the devil. Non-Jew is not the enemy. The non-Jew are the people that we're supposed to inspire to show them that there's a spiritual way for Jews and non-Jews to come close to God and to live together in harmony in the world. That's what the Torah is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be just for the Jewish. It's supposed to be a universal law of how to be. So we need, I'm bringing all that now because it's almost like, I see a lot of videos of finally, why Jacobson opening up, finally he said it. Meaning we have to say things, it's like enough. Let's peel the beans. We are in a generation, we are the time, and this year more than ever before, after this crazy past year, we have to be authentic, we have to be real, we have to open up. We can't stay hostage in our own life of whatever, hostage of our tradition, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that being from is being hostage. You can be from and be much more free than non-from, but what it means is that deal with it. Say what bothers you, what's hard, what's difficult, where do you feel there's a problem, an issue that needs to be addressed in the way we live, because there's a lot of people who are not happy Jews. I'm not saying because they have a hard life. Not happy Jews it's Halloween. They're not happy Jews because of the way they live their Judaism. How is that possible? How can you live Judaism and it's affecting you in a negative way? So obviously there's something wrong with the way you experience Judaism. And it's known, 90% of the people who go off the derech, again 90%, maybe not 90%, because there's a lot of abuse, but as I would say, easy 50% is never from a problem in the halakha and all that. It's usually because there was some very negative experience from Jews, and they want to reject it, because I don't want to associate with people who are that shallow or angry or abusive or anything.
I mean, he said he went up there because one thing that was really, his parents said that he was going to hell for brushing his teeth on Shabbos.
Exactly.
He hated not brushing his teeth because he got so much candy on Shabbos. He was really traumatized. I could see in his eyes. It was something really.
Right, it is traumatizing. And for kids' mind, when you say, people don't realize. For kids' mind, you say Gehinnom. First of all, the image of Gehinnom with like pitchfork fire, whatever it's Halloween scary.
The Bible left Tahor survivor.
Oh no, but I know
we had a family in Denmark.
Even New Square.
Even sometimes.
We have a specific family in Denmark that are left Tahor. I mean, they used to be left Tahor, but we went up in Denmark. So it's very interesting.
Wow.
Have you read the book Up to the Boss about Joseph?
Yeah.
They always give that book as like a piece of book in the yeshiva. And I read it, and I'm like, this is very depressing. It was good in his way, but it's very depressing. Like how, some of the childhood with his daughter is just like, it's a bit like,
it's not
low happiness. I mean,
it's not easy. So we have to claim our happiness. We have to fight for ourselves. And today things are opening up, and there's more and more roads to really express oneself and connect and heal. There's actually something very beautiful that I heard today from a guy on Instagram. He says, if you want to find your soulmate, you need to first heal your soul. And I think it's very beautifully said, because it's you want a soulmate, it's your soul is suffering. You're not going to have clarity on who is the right one if your soul is sick. And we need to heal our soul, to heal our spirituality, to heal our... Then you'll be in sync with the world, with the universe, to connect to your soulmate. But before that, it's very hard. So you gotta find out your own harmonious way out to live life. So
I have a question.
yeah.
So what do you do in a scenario, because I'm Baal Shuva and I still am learning in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in a situation where, because like, so for example, like for me the Torah is like a pretty easy read, right? Like it's just like the 5 books of Moses. But I've never read the Gemara. Right? And like the halacha comes from the Gemara, and like so much of what we do comes from the Gemara.
Right.
And say I have a question about something, right? I get an answer, and I just simply don't agree.
Right.
Like, I mean, my mind can't wrap its head around, or I just simply don't agree. Like, there's something inside of me that kicks, and it's like, no, that doesn't connect me to Hashem. Like, this might have been the interpretation of one of the sages, truly, and like, who am I, right? But like, truthfully, like the opinion of there's something inside of me that's like, and it's sad when that happens, because I feel like it pulls me away.
It's a great question.
Right.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are afraid to ask that question, and like, the way I feel hostage.
Right.
Like, I can't go against I built myself, I built my Judaism, I built my relationship with Hashem. I'm a Jew. I observe to this level, but like, I'm not going to give it up. But like, this is a little bit of an issue sometimes. So. No,
it's a very good question, very important, and one of the things that I hadn't heard before with my Rebbe was. Many years ago, he told me, if you're not satisfied with the next question, an answer from a rabbi, go to the next rabbi, or ask the same rabbi, depending on the rabbi is. Someone I just have one single answer because God said so, because that's the halacha. That's not an answer. You don't want to stick with a rabbi that answers like that, and that's it, because it's not nurturing the soul. The halacha and Torah is supposed to nurture you, and it's meant to help you. And that's something that I actually became very, very, very clear in my mind in the past few years. Is like, imagine if you didn't do a mitzvah until it was clear how this mitzvah helps you change as a human being. Very different. And even the simple halacha as
Where's the bathroom?
Oh, I'm the guest here. So. As simple as
keep going down.
Putting first your right shoe and then left shoe and then tying the left, and that's not halacha, it's more minhag, but certain things like that is like, okay, it's so simple, it's so. If I understood that this was meant to be actually something to help me in the way to think, in the way to feel, in the way how to act in life, then I will be transformed by everything I do. But unfortunately, we do our religion as soldiers as opposed to as spiritual, explorer. It'll be completely different. Yeah.
Isn't there a principle though where first you do and then you ask?
So Naseh v'Nishma, yes, but meaning there's a principle, meaning I understand that the Torah there's something good there, but you can't, you're gonna ask what 10 years later? No, it doesn't say. It says Naseh v'Nishma, do and ask, meaning yes, I want to do it. But I want to understand how this is supposed to help me also. And I think we have detached the Naseh v'Nishma too much. So much that we only end up with the Naseh, and the other part that it's the two. It's not just Naseh. Naseh doesn't work by itself. It's the Naseh v'Nishma. that means that if you just do, but you never get to the nishma, that's not what the Torah was accepted upon.
Yeah.
So there's no problem that it's not you're rejecting God or trying to challenge God. Oh, I need to understand. Yeah, we cannot understand everything exactly why Hashem did things, but Hashem made a Torah where we use our sechel, our logic, and our understanding, and He wants us to feel good about it. He wants us to understand. He wants us to love it. He wants us to see how it helps us in life. But it's a very different way to live a Judaism where whatever you do, it's as a model on where you see your behavior change or how it helps you transform yourself. You understand? Wow, this is like a workshop. I have 613 workshop tools to transform myself into someone that is more spiritual, more in harmony, more happy, more in touch with nature, more respectful of animals, more honest, or more authentic. But instead, we don't. Like,
yeah. Also, like I feel also like Nafshem Benishma was set at a time where Bnei Yisrael were like had seen so much kindness from God, right? And they just got to see like how He acts, and then He said like, okay, listen, I have a whole bunch of like things I want to tell you, like how to live your life. And they just said like, I'm saying it was so great what they did. They responded basically, we trust you. That was basically the response. That's the way I see the response not Nishma. Like we get you, and like we've seen you act, and we're just like, we trust you. Like we're literally gonna do, and then we'll try to figure it out afterwards. Like normally you don't trust a person. You never do something first unless.
Right.
But right, Yeah.
Didn't Hashem hold the mountain over them? Didn't Hashem hold the mountain over them also and said, "I'm going to drop them"?
Right, but again, that was an allegory because he can't force us without the Torah putting this. So it's a mashal that it was to understand that seeing the truth. It's like when you're put in front of the truth. It's obviously that you're not. Are you going to say yes to the truth, or are you going to just like bury yourself because it's once you discover what's true or not, leave it and not saying okay, yes, we want it. It's like you leave putting yourself in trouble. So it's like you're stuck with making the right choice, and God pushed us, so to speak. Yeah, God pushed us to make the right choice and to accept that for us because He knew it was best for you. It's like sometimes as parents you push the kid to do something that he wants trying to show. So you want one vitamin or two vitamins? But that's not a choice. That's both vitamins. Well, but he's not going to say vitamin or no vitamin because he knows you need to put vitamins. So it makes you feel that. But that's just the healthy approach to sometimes push us in the right direction. So we needed to accept it because it's part of our mission and who we are as Jews. And by the way, that's the other point I wanted to bring out tonight is within everything that we spoke about. We just finished the holiday of Sukkot. And Sukkot is meant to be Zman Simchatenu or Zman Simchasenu for Ashkenazim. And the whole idea is, okay, it's a time of our joy, and this is supposed to teach us how to be happy in life. So now we all have Sukkot, right? We all have Sukkot, so we figure it out, right? We're all happy now. Because I was in the Sukkah for 7 days, so now I know what it means to be have a happy life. Right? You figure it out? Right? Yeah?
I feel fatigued.
No, what?
I feel fatigued.
You feel fatigued, right? No? But if you seriously go around the Jewish people now, you make an interview of Jewish people, so right, you had a time where this represents the essence of being happy as a Jew. And say that, okay, so how are you going to bring that into your year now, into your everyday life? That your everyday life should become your whole year of Zman Simchasenu, not just 7 days. So, I don't think you're going to have too many good answers that, because I learned from Sukkot that if you do this, that, then you're happy in life. Right? And how practical are we with our Judaism? Are we doing just like magical Harry Potter magical things and shake some branches in all directions and then do some cool Jewish camping and see the stars, it's romantic and everything, and then go back to our regular life and okay, that was cool holiday, but did you learn anything? Did it transform you? Is it a joke to you? It's like, okay, we do this now. Okay, it was Halloween, and now it's not Halloween anymore. What?
So what's the reason? I'm thinking about this actually recently. Just like
great question.
All these, what does palm branch have any meaning behind it?
Right.
Like how's that going to make me feel more meaningful? And honestly, I came up like after thinking a while, I realized that I feel fulfilled by shaking a palm branch. It like strikes something deep. I found it. But for some reason, I don't know how. I have no clue. It's like a certain thing in my subconscious sort of. I'm wondering.
It's possible you have tapped into the spiritual activation that this brings about, but you haven't yet bring it into in the more logical, rational.
Yeah, I'm very rationalist. I don't think esoteric when people say Kabbalah or whatever, disconnected. I don't connect to that.
Yeah, no,
it has to be very rational.
It has to be. They're all connected, but there has to be a part that is rational and a part that is spiritual. You could say of every laws of every one of the 613 mitzvahs that they are rational, and the Rambam comes and more than explains some rationale behind the laws, and at the same time, it's given by God. What are you going to start understanding anything that comes from God? You think you can understand God? If you think you can understand God, He's not God.
You could go along the rational line of reasoning and eventually get there. It's going to take a long time because you have to be But I think you could get starting from rationalist, from rational line of thinking, you could keep on going. You'll eventually get there.
Right, absolutely. So like, and the beauty is sometimes in therapy you do things. When you do therapy, sometimes you ask the client to shake, just shake like that. So you shake your emotions like, when you do enough workshop and retreats, you see all types of things. And one of the things is like you shake, just like okay, shake all the negativity that you have in you, like get rid of it, So there's the whole idea of shaking, shaking the like it's bringing you to shake something in your life. Are you shaken by your emotions? Is Judaism shaking the way you think? You know what I mean? And that's one approach. Another approach is waving. That the waving is not shaking. The actual thing is actually not the shaking. A lot of people are focused on the shaking. The ananua is actually to wave the esrog and lulav like that, just like one for Bikurim, and you wave in all 6 directions. So a wave, have you heard, quantum physics?
Not really. A little bit.
So more in science, there's the particle that goes as waves and particle that's sent as
electromagnetic.
The split door experiment.
Right, split door experiment. Yeah. What?
Waves or
how a particle travels as a wave and as a.
I forgot the other term. It is a wave and as a.
No, who did it?
The double split experiment.
I think it's a wave or
the atom, maybe
as a particle,
the atom,
right. Yeah. Or you answer as a straight particle, or you answer as a wave, and the idea is that it has from the same element, it has 2 different effects, and therefore, if you look at and it changes based on how you observe of your level of awareness of conscious being that is there and is aware of the way that you're observing and doing something. So it's almost as if saying, like, do you understand that once you become aware of your actions and words and thoughts and emotions you have towards other people or towards yourself, or it actually affects the world in all 6 directions, and you can actually create a new magnetic field, so to speak, a new type of reality, because the double split experiment shows you that your level of awareness is going to shape the reality of what you think or say or feel, and therefore that we need to be much more aware that we affect the world, and that once you become aware that you affect the world, that's when you really start affecting the world. So how many people truly believe, how much do you truly believe that when you move your thing in 6 directions, you affect the world, so to speak, in the same way that when you speak to someone, you can literally shake his life or wave his life. I mean, you have someone who go to a therapist or someone who goes to speak to his best friend or two people talking, and you're literally gonna change his life forever because of the few words of advice or comfort or compassion that you have with that person. You literally waved his life or shook his world, and he's gonna be, from now on, he's gonna be a completely different human being. If we were aware of that this is what type of being we are, but it's not just on the spiritual level, it's also on the physical level, it's also on the emotional level, and intellectual level. We have to remember, and this is the most important part of all that. We're supposed to be out there in the world and make a revolution, right? Do you understand that this is how Judaism started? Avraham, he was a revolutionary guy.
Chabad was revolution.
Yeah, but Chabad is way after Avraham.
No, but it was. If you ask me, it was one of the most recent revolutions.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy revolution. But the Baal Shem Tov was a revolution.
I would say the Rosh Hashanah was.
He definitely created.
He was the Baal Shem Tov of our generation, or the last generation.
He created a crazy thing that is extraordinary, the crazy movement, and it's fantastic, and we need to learn from that. But it's not supposed to be just Chabad. Each one of us is shliach from Hashem. It is meant to create a wave or a shaking in our, so much so that and even says that why are the Jews in exile all around the world? Because we're meant to elevate and change and shape the generation, the non-Jews, so that the souls that are supposed to come back. Thank you for everything. Thank you for coming. See you next time. Baal Tshuva power. Stay strong. Okay. I still believe in the movement. I still believe that we are meant to still inspire the former. But
how does someone like Rosh Hashanah get such a powerful voice?
Well, obviously he had, because his ideas were revolutionary, and he was able to do that. Just like the Baal Shem Tov, just like the Rambam, just like the Rabbi Nachman of Breslov.
Chacham Ovadia.
Yeah, Chacham Ovadia. He saved the Sephardi community. So, but there are people. There were people who were not afraid to be out of the box and to say or change the way. If we do always the same thing, nothing changes. You need to, go beyond and expand and find new creative ways for your generation. Oh, by the way, Parashas Noach, one of the most beautiful things I learned from Parashas Noach from Rabbi Avraham Tversky, that's all. He says like that. Why did Rabbi Avraham Tversky, right, the famous, I learned directly from him. I was lucky. He was a very special person. So he says like that. It's a very powerful message that I only heard from him, but it's so important. I remember when he started talking in the communities about the abuse problem and the drug and alcohol problem, like people were like, what? And he was trying to create a revolution, a truth that was not a voice that was not heard before. But he says like that. Noach ish tzadik tamim haya b'dorotav. Okay, Noach was a tzaddik and tamim in his generation. How is it possible that the guy who is a super tzaddik ends up getting drunk, getting naked, and whatever happens when it happens? He had good intention, but a tzaddik doesn't get drunk on that level. So how come he get drunk? Well,
he just built the whole thing.
No, it's not that. He was in a generation before. Meaning, if he was pre-Mabul, he would have drink the same amount of shots that they drink. They know, okay, with this I get tipsy, with another two I get drunk. So he took the same amount as he would have taken before the flood, so to speak, right? What he didn't understand is that you're now after the flood generation. It's a new generation. Lehavdil, to give the example, now you're after Holocaust generation, or after the Crusades, or after the destruction of the temple, or after October 7th. You can't give the same. The world changes. The people change, the materiality change, the emotion. The people today are emotionally much weaker than in the past. They're not that strong. In the past, people sucked it up. They would, especially in marriages, they would stay married even though there was no not necessarily emotional love. Today, it doesn't work anymore. This is right. So he said he took the same amount, but he didn't adapt to the new level of physicality and materiality and spirituality that was there. And therefore, when he took the same amount as pre-flood, it affected him much more. Therefore, we have to understand we cannot use the same tools from one generation to another generation. Sometimes you can, but most of the time you need to come with new tools, new ways. So today, like I was giving an example of ayahuasca. Okay, I'm not saying that's the new way. I'm saying it's just a small example of what Jews have been today. That something that was unthinkable maybe 10 years ago. That we do, or shrooms or whatever, or ketamine for healing, and microdosage, all that. But people, there's thousands and thousands of Jews doing that now, and they're getting healed.
One guy who talked to me asked me if I had DMT.
Oh really?
Like in Sweden, I got so angry at him, and he became my mentor.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like for how our interaction began.
Yeah.
I thought I was like dealing drugs. I don't know why.
Right. No, it's a new world, and we have to.
And the Kabbalah is also.
And we have to
So
learn what's the new generation and what's the new tools that we need for our generation. Otherwise, we get stuck in the old pattern and it doesn't heal us. Yeah.
Saying that our generation is weaker, I don't think
Emotionally,
I feel like it's not really our minds. I feel like are made differently. I just feel like we have so many more experiences, and our minds are so much wider, and we have so many different feelings that we see through either video, through movies, or through different or through social media or anything that we and our minds have felt so many more buttons have been pushed in our brain, and there's so much wider, and we heard so many more opinions that there's so much more to juggle. If you live a one-dimensional life, in a shtetl somewhere, then it's not. I think our minds are stronger, probably. Like we probably evolved more.
Well, that's true. Also, I think
we're dealing with so much more.
People weren't actually
we were able to thrive.
Back then, people think they were more pious back then, but it's known that the people kept their Zion, they threw it to feeling.
But they say it's like there are so many of the rabbis say that someone in our generation who is able to still go to shul and do the mitzvahs and stay honest in business and not just all the time goes to schmutz place, whatever. Someone who controls himself in our generation is on a level higher than some of the forefathers, because if the forefathers were here in our generation, they would completely fall apart because of the intensity of the truma and the temptations. Nobody had the temptation. Nobody has access to so much pleasure or any temptation of tuma as today. You click a mouse, you go outside, it's like everything's available, right? So in a way, yes, you're right. In a way, we are stronger, and the level of our soul. They say all the last. By the way, the Arizal said the souls now is all the reincarnation of the souls that were in the midbar, meaning the highest level of soul. That all of us, we're souls that have the final souls were coming to finish what was not finished, but they're actually very high, very very high level souls. That's why we're able to be Jews in the middle of a chaos, in this world nowadays where it's literally people follow the media for the truth,
But I feel like it's more like one of the things that draw me to Jewish faith was like the idea that in this world, the secular world, everything is drawn to what feels good, what's like pleasure and everything. And I feel like if you abstain from it, I noticed that I was more happy.
Right.
The more I abstained for going for pleasure right away, I felt more like happiness generally.
Very true.
Yiddish kind was like the whole hashkafa, like the halakha that we got was like you kind of abstain from things, and you can appreciate things much more if you it doesn't self-indulge in everything all the time. That was the one thing that kind of drove me.
It's true. It's a very good point.
It becomes like psychosis with all the TikTok, all the you burn yourself out.
Right.
Like when you see that Instagram, it says you have scrolled everything that, like, you know, they say.
Right.
You know,
Did I make a quota of
I'm
new
like,
information?
And it's designed to do that.
Yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
to trap you and
I
to
feel depressed
the
after.
whole
I'm like, what have I done?
the whole code.
Yeah.
It's encrypted for you to get exactly what they know you
Yeah, it's
you like.
exactly for like a second. I feel like some pleasure, like dopamine, and then it's just.
Listen, it's the most ironical thing
Um,
and the most almost laughable that the Apple logo is a beaten apple.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like,
They-
See, like it's put it in your face, you know, and say
Yeah.
the Satan has reshoot to really attack you, but he has to show you the truth. that's the truth. You bite into that apple, you're not gonna leave your apple for you know
And you
for,
don't know
for years.
what people kind of what reshoots they give into your
Right.
phone and
Right.
what
And to the kids, I saw with my kids, you know, like Baruch Hashem, they didn't have a hard smartphone until they were in high school. But even high school, you see the damage. You see the
Yeah.
damage that it goes into the brain, how they think differently, much faster, and they're not satisfied with simple stuff like playing outside or biking. It's incredible how it affects.
The
So
time
we-
before was so much like like
Right.
the general happiness was so much more because the
Right.
information didn't
It's
travel
true.
so fast.
Right.
And you were like you had a burner phone.
The
you know,
dopamine was like
Snake, that was it.
well reported
Yeah.
category. Nowadays it's dopamine, and then like
So,
Right, right.
overdose of dopamine, and then you don't know anymore what to enjoy.
Yeah.
Without Shabbat would be really screwed.
Right. It's incredible. This is replacing
So
exactly.
why does our brain want that? Like why are we attracted
Be-
to something that makes us go like that?
No, so it's a very good question because your mind is connected to chokhmah, wisdom, and that part of that wisdom comes from the roots, which is God, meaning what's gonna be. You know, sometimes you learn something and say, "Whoa, that's amazing!" Right? It can be in science, in biology, or about the universe, and you say like, "Whoa, this is so deep, so deep," because there's something in your soul that recognizes greatness, that is designed to recognize what's powerful and God. To see how do you recognize God's greatness if you don't understand the way He made the universe? That it's amazing that. You know how many types of bugs? It's like 1 million types of bugs, each one with its own shape, and some looks like it's handcrafted butterfly. How it's handcrafted, decorated. It's like the colors and the shape, and it's beauty. So there's something in shaped. I mean, made in you, designed in you for you to be able to recognize greatness and powerful. So sometimes your mind he needs that dopamine, but sometimes it's put so much into one category that has nothing to do with the universe, nothing to do with, you know, like that you get that bit that dopamine, but it's not productive. It's more like just feed you food, fast food, right? Fast food, fast information, and your mind gets fed, but it's not healthy food.
That's what
It has to become organic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like,
Yeah, well.
the idea of kosher phone, I mean, really speaks to me just because I don't want to have the access to like Facebook and Instagram because I can't like even though I can't control myself on Instagram. I can't like I watch it. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna like I erased my account, but I still have my business account. So I'm like looking.
Thank you
at
so much for
videos.
coming.
Not
I'm like-
another feed.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm gonna get rid of my accounts. I'm not gonna and like I have the same accounts, my meme accounts, and like how I'd be laughing at the same stuff. And like I have one of my friends, and I sent all the weird Muslim memes to him, like all the weird Muslim things I just sent to him. That's like I get so much. Well, no, it's just I don't know. It's just most unnecessary.
Yeah, why are so attractive? It doesn't
The
make any
content
sense.
is so good.
Yeah.
Right.
Why is it? It's just the most enjoyable thing. Why? And then you feel like very unfulfilled. It feels
So that's
like,
what you need to-
it feels like you're addicted. It feels like you can't
It's so
control
hard
it.
for me
So
to
it
learn.
sucks.
Like I had a documentary yesterday,
Read it?
and I was like, I'm gonna sit down in my bed, just look at my phone.
Right.
1 hour later, I'm like, I need to do that dog.
It's right. It is
Why?
crazy. It is
I'm
crazy.
like,
And
oh my
then
God.
the day tomorrow after that, it's like I can't. I'm gonna do a DOF now. I'm like, my brain is like doesn't have even
It's actually
the.
better. It's like my.
I can't even hop like a sentence. Like it takes me like half an hour to really get in to actually be able to learn.
Right,
Because I'm like I'm gonna give it place, and I'm
And then
just thinking
sometimes
about
there's some pictures.
you know.
And when there is
funny
those
memes.
pictures,
Right.
it's good.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, this is the reality, and we have to deal with it. So yeah, so I just finished with the idea for me to come on Sukkot about like okay, so what's Man Simchatenu? and for me, it was really the idea of, can you literally, it's not the Zman, our time of our joy, Simchatenu, is not just like, oh, it's nice in the sukkah and we have people coming in our sukkah, visiting together. For me, the real understanding of the joy that we get it is, are you really able to celebrate the simple things? Right, you go in the sukkah, right, and you realize, okay, this is my house, the sukkah. You compare what you have or what it would look like if you were homeless or camping, and the comfort, the level of comfort that you have, and you invite friends. You see the friends, the relationships you have, all that, or the family, or whatever, and you realize like, wow. The way to stay in that Ananea Kavod, in that sukkah, why can't you stay in that Zman Simchat Chenu the whole year, in the Ananea Kavod the whole year? So if you really feel that God is hugging you all the time, that wherever you go, God is hugging you, loving you, praying you, and that everything you have is a celebration. Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm not here. I had a very hard day.
That's fine. No problem. It's all recorded. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, awesome. I'm so happy everyone's here.
Yeah, what?
Thanks for
So
having
happy.
us.
My pleasure. I'm sorry I can't host. Just like,
It's all
No,
tough.
it's beautiful.
It's all tough on the new apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we will celebrate like just being us here, this is a celebration. I'm so excited that we are here together in the middle of Halloween, New York, Manhattan, Halloween, and we are speaking about things that are so important to human life and happiness and all that. Okay, I'm celebrating and enjoy every moment like that. This bringing joy. If you enjoy just your cup of coffee, there's actually a little book. It's called 1,000 Things, and it's about 1,000 things that the person has just by drinking a cup of coffee. It's pretty powerful. If we reach that level of awareness of joy, of celebrating the moment, all the good moments that you have, celebrating all the good moments, or all the good things that you have. Not just, oh yeah, it's nice, I have a nice house, I have a nice car, I have a nice job, I have a nice wife, I have a nice friend. No, like really celebrate. Make it a celebration,
People need to get sick to have Karisatov. Like,
right. A real like Karisatov. Not like, wow, so like really put some music, thank you God, make some lechaim. And we don't do that. We rarely do that. Only like say when it's removed, we start like, oh my God.
I drank like coffee for like 2 years, and I had like the first cappuccino in 2 years.
Oh,
that was like a different. That hit
right.
different. I was like, wow.
Well, that's the celebrating. Yeah. It's like celebrating an anniversary. You want to do it every year, and it's great every year to celebrate. But what about anniversary of other things, or a book that changed your life, or about a delicious drink that you had, or hanging out with friends that you love? That's
comes at the lost.
Yeah, you have to
right.
That's it.
You
You have to give your 2 cents. Oh, you're just taking it?
No, I'm taking
taking it. And the last thing that I got about Sukkot connected to that. So besides celebrating, not just enjoying, but celebrating the good, having gratitude on a high level than that. But you're also aware that when you affect the world, because the whole thing of shaking and waving, like we say, was the idea that you affect the world as a human being. If you really get that sense that you affect the world through everything you do, you feel empowered. You feel you're part of something meaningful. You feel like what you do matters. You feel like I'm here on a mission and I have what to do. I have to be light unto the nation, and there's no greater joy in life than realizing all the good you have and seeing that what you do matters. That's it, and that God loves you. So you know, the clouds of glory.
I'll say one thing.
Amen.
Yeah.
I was thinking, what God only is hugging us during Sukkot with the Ananei Kavod. It can't be. There has to be like some other kind of hug throughout the year.
Yes.
And I was putting on tefillin, and I thought, this is Hashem's name. I'm wrapping it on myself. If anything, that's.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very good point. Yes, and it has to do always with Shema, Ve'afta et Hashem Elokecha. So you're right. That feeling is a very much. At some point, one of the kavanah I had, imagine a guy he loves his wife so much he puts a rope against both of them. It's like you're trying to do that. Like I want to be attached to you, like tight. And that's what you do. Try to do with God. I want to wrap you around me like you know, and it's very cool. So when you experience it like that, yeah, you're right. Sananei Kavod, it's not just on Sukkot; it can be the whole year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I also used to be thinking about like different things that like you know that you just I figured like I don't appreciate, I don't realize, you know, and I sort of changed my modus operandi that I just like because I realized I was trying to like force myself to feel certain things, you know, and you can't do that.
Right.
So I sort of the new way I look at it is I realize this is what I feel like the non-Jewish culture has a lot more better than the Jewish culture is that they just sort of like explore their heart. You know what I mean? Like we're like we have so many things. Jews have so many things that we feel like we're supposed to feel, and like so many things that we feel like we're supposed to whatever. That we're not like. It's very hard to just be like, oh, like what do I feel like? Because we get nervous from certain feelings. We're like, okay, like why are you feeling that? You're not supposed to be feeling that way, you know? Like we feel like I don't God. I don't feel anything with you know like whatever. He's beyond me. Like you can't. We're scared to feel so many different things. So I'm like let's say a couple months ago, like I started just being like focusing more on just exploring what the heart is, and you know, it's not a bunch of TikTok.
Nice.
No, like it's really that's one way. I'm like seriously speaking, but like I'm saying it's also a lot of like appreciating like other like you know more things, and I feel like that I'm hoping like eventually like. At least now I'm like exploring my heart, but I'm like trying like, but I want to get to appreciate, you know, connection with Hashem, appreciate whatever. But I'm like at this, like I'm still, but I make sure never to tell myself like, oh, feel this way.
Right. Good. Yeah, that's good. That's important. All right, Baruch Hashem, to be continued. Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov, yeah.
It's by the way, the little thing with Halloween is Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, right? Cheshvan is it's one of the only two months, Cheshvan and Teves, where there's no holiday at all, which is dark when the nights get darker, and it happens always. Halloween falls around that time, and at the time right after Sukkot, where we go outside and we're not afraid to be in the dark. We're fighting all the darkness of that they bring, and say we're not afraid of that. We're ready to fight. So it's a moment that comes together, and yeah. So happy Halloween.